At my sister Sip's extravagant wedding, my parents insisted I give up my penthouse for their new family. Mom declared, "Selfish children, Donset deserve success," and Dad added, "Your sister Sip's children need real homes." When I refused, my sister slapped me, hard right in front of 200 guests. Everyone laughed. I didn't cry. I chose a form of revenge that would silence them permanently. The champagne flute trembled in my hand as I watched Sabrina glide across the marble floor in her custom Vera Wang gown. 200 guests had gathered to witness her fairy tale wedding to Derek, a successful investment banker she met just 8 months earlier. I couldn't help noticing the irony. She was marrying for money while trying to take mine. I'm Vivienne, 32, and I've worked relentlessly to reach where I am today. While Sabrina spent her 20s hopping from one relationship to another, I pulled all-nighters in law school and worked 70-hour weeks at a top Manhattan firm. 5 years ago, I took the biggest risk of my life, starting my own firm specializing in business litigation. It paid off. Last year, a settlement allowed me to acquire a penthouse overlooking Central Park, a home everyone now claimed was rightfully theirs. "Vivienne, darling, you look radiant," Mom said, her carefully polished smile signaling trouble. Her silver hair was perfectly coiffed, her navy dress clearly expensive. "We need to have a family chat." My stomach sank. Family conversations in the Morrison household were never good news. Dad appeared, his expression stern, eyes shadowed with the disappointment that had haunted me since childhood. "We've been discussing your living situation." I blinked. My living situation? Mom Sep's tone was syrupy. "Sabrina and Derek are starting a family. They still need more space than Derek Sep's tiny apartment." "They're not even pregnant yet," I said cautiously. Sabrina joined us, her husband's arm around her waist. At 28, her auburn hair and green eyes were striking, but her calculated expression made my skin crawl. "We're planning to start trying right away," she said. "Congratulations," I murmured. "We want your penthouse." The words hit me like a physical blow. "Excuse me?" Dad jumped in, adopting that patronizing tone he uses when he thinks he sits being logical. "Think about this logically. You sit single. You don't need all that space. Sabrina and Derek are starting a family. They need room for children, for the future." I couldn't believe it. The home I'd worked for years to earn, was I supposed to give it up? Mom corrected hastily. "Trade. You could take Derek Sep's apartment. It's adequate for one person." I raised an eyebrow. "A 600-square-foot studio in Queens? For my 3-bedroom Upper West Side penthouse?" Sabrina urged. "Donset, be dramatic. You Donset even use all that space. What do you need 3 bedrooms for? You Donset have a boyfriend." Her words stung, as intended. She had always been the ideal child in my parents' eyes. Any risk I took was criticized. Any risk she took was celebrated. "I need those bedrooms, because it sets my home," I said firmly. "I earned it. I paid for it, and I'm not giving it up." Mom Supta's voice became sharp. "That Supta's incredibly selfish. Family comes first. Always." I laughed quietly. "Family? Have any of you ever treated me like family? When I studied for the bar, you called me antisocial. When I struggled building my business, you called me careless. And when I finally succeeded, you pretended it was an accident. When have you ever asked about my happiness? When have you ever asked about my happiness?" Sabrina stepped forward, red-faced. "You stir jealous, Vivienne. You can stand that I am getting married, and having the family you still never have." "I'm not jealous. I'm disappointed in you," I replied. "Disappointed?" she scoffed. "Stem getting married, giving mom and dad grandkids. What have you done besides make money?" "I've built a life," I said calmly. "I've worked hard for everything. I've never asked anything from you." Dad intervened firmly. Your sister needs that penthouse more than you do. It's time you did something for your family instead of yourself. Mom raised her voice. Selfish children don't deserve success. You had everything, and now you want even help your sister. Handed to me, I thought. I worked 3 jobs to pay for law school, lived on ramen, and built my practice from scratch. I've never asked for a dime. Sabrina Sip's voice lowered, venomous. I'm none pretending to care about your feelings. I always been the better daughter, prettier, more likable, the one who makes mom and dad proud, and now I am getting what I always deserved. What do you deserve? I asked softly. Everything, your penthouse, the respect, the life you been hoarding. I deserve it all. Over my dead body. Sabrina's hand shot out and struck my cheek. 200 guests fell silent. Then laughter erupted, starting with a few friends, spreading across the ballroom. My cheek burned, but I didn't cry. I refused to give them the satisfaction. Sabrina smiled triumphantly. Maybe now you still act like a real sister. Mom and Dad didn't intervene. That's when I realized this wasn't about the penthouse. It was about keeping me in my place, reminding me I would always be the disappointment. But they made a critical error. They humiliated me in front of 200 witnesses, many prominent figures from New York's legal and business circles. I reached into my bag, grabbed my phone, and began typing, hands steady, despite my anger. Vivienne, what are you doing? Mom asked uneasily. I ignored her, typing. People around us noticed I wasn't reacting as expected. I wasn't crying. I was doing something completely different. Sabrina tried to grab my phone, but I sent the message just as her fingertips touched the screen. What did you do? She hissed. I looked at my family and the guests. I chose the revenge that will silence you forever. Confused expressions. Guests murmured. My phone buzzed repeatedly. Vivienne, delete that, Mom shrieked. I smiled genuinely for the first time all evening. I'd sent a message to my group chat. The lawyers, journalists, and business contacts I actually respect. It detailed my family demanding I give up my penthouse, Mom calling me selfish, Dad prioritizing hypothetical grandchildren, Sabrina slapping me, and the crowd laughing. The ballroom went silent. Even the string quartet stopped. I read aloud how amusing it was that a successful woman was being humiliated by her family. Delete it? I shrugged. Too late. Once it sets out, it sets out. Social media works that way. My phone vibrated constantly with messages, support, outrage, and requests for updates. The story was spreading faster than I expected. You vindictive, Sabrina screamed, her voice shaking slightly. No, Sabrina, I said calmly. I am just done being your doormat. Derek, who had been silent until now, finally spoke. Vivienne, maybe we can work something out. We didn't mean for this to get so out of hand. I looked at him with pity. You married into the wrong family, Derek. You have no idea what you've gotten yourself into. What do you mean? He asked, genuinely confused. Your wife and in-laws just made some very powerful enemies. Do you know who Judge Margaret Chen is? She was here tonight. She saw everything and already texted me, expressing her disgust at Sabrina's behavior. And David Rodriguez from the Times. He's been following me all evening for an interview on my latest case. He saw it too. He wants a comment on how successful women are treated by their families. Sabrina's face drained of color. Judge Chen was one of New York's most respected judges, known for intolerance toward entitled conduct. And David Rodriguez, a top reporter tracking influential cases. Vivienne, stop, Mom urged. You're going to ruin Sabrina Sit's wedding. Sabrina ruined her own wedding, I said firmly. She assaulted me in front of 200 people. It was just a slap, Sabrina insisted. You're overreacting. It was an assault, Sabrina, witnessed by 200 people, including lawyers, a judge, and a reporter. I deserve not to be physically attacked by my own family. My phone rang. I glanced at the screen and smiled. Amanda Walsh from Walsh & Associates, famous for high-profile reputation management, was offering her services pro bono. Sabrina's face went pale. "Vivienne, please," she whispered. Sorry. I didn't mean to hit you. I was emotional." Sorry." I chuckled dryly. Sorry there are consequences. Sorry you can just take what you want from me. But not sorry for what you did." "I am sorry," she insisted. "I still apologize publicly. I still say it was a mistake." Too late. The damage was done. I could see it in the crowd. Uneasy whispers, pointed stares. People who had laughed before now looked at her with disgust. Social media posts had already gone viral. In New York society, reputation is everything. "What do you want?" Dad asked quietly, defeat in his voice. "I want you to leave me alone," I said plainly. "All of you. Stop treating me like an ATM. Stop expecting me to sacrifice my happiness for Sabrina. Stop pretending family means anything beyond what you can get from me." "We still family," Mom murmured. "No," I said firmly. "Family doesn't demand your home. Family doesn't yell at you in public. Family doesn't assault you at a wedding. Family supports, celebrates, and respects each other. You never done that for me." My phone buzzed again, this time an SMS from my assistant. "Vivienne, TMZ is calling. They want to know if you are the lawyer assaulted at the Ritz-Carlton wedding. What do I tell them?" I held up the phone so everyone could read. TMZ was calling. This was about to get very public. Sabrina began crying, her makeup smudged. "Vivienne, please. It's my wedding day. Don't ruin it." "I not ruining anything," I said. "I just refusing to be your victim anymore." "How do we fix this?" Derek asked. Desperate. I looked at him, then my parents, and finally at my sobbing sister. "You can fix this. This is who they are. They take until there's nothing left. And when you finally say no, they attack you for it." The ballroom was emptying. Guests made excuses to leave the chaos behind. Sabrina's beautiful wedding was unraveling. "The penthouse is mine," I said gently. "I earned it. I paid for it, and I'm keeping it. If you want a nice home, Sabrina, work for it like I did." "I can't believe you're doing this," she muttered. "I can believe it took me this long," I said. Dad grabbed my arm. "Vivienne, wait. We can work this out. Family counseling, mediation, whatever you want." I looked at his hand, then at his face. "Let go of me, Dad." He quickly released me, aware of the consequences after what had just occurred. "There's nothing to work out," I said. "You made your choice. You chose Sabrina over me, just like always. Her convenience over my hard work. Her demands over my boundaries. And when I said no, you watched her assault me." "We didn't know she was going to hit you," Mom said. "But you didn't stop her. You didn't apologize. You didn't even check if I was okay. You just let it happen." I walked toward the exit, heels clicking against marble. Behind me, Sabrina's crying. Mom's frantic murmurs. Dad's angry muttering. I didn't look back. At the door, I turned once. The grand ballroom looked like a disaster zone. Guests whispered in groups. The bride sobbed. The groom looked stunned. And my parents tried to contain the damage. "You know the funny thing?" I said, voice echoing. "I would have helped if you asked nicely. If you treated me like family instead of an ATM. I might have helped with a home or even a down payment, but you didn't ask. You demanded, insulted, and attacked me. So now you get nothing." I walked out, head held high, leaving behind the wreckage of the wedding and my family's reputation. The elevator ride felt endless. The doors closed behind me, but I could still hear the chaos above. In the lobby, the night manager approached, concerned. "Miss Morrison, is everything all right?" We heard commotion upstairs. I smiled faintly. I said, fine, just family drama." By tomorrow, this story would spread across luxury circles in New York. Outside, the crisp October air hit my face, a reminder of the slap I'd endured that night. My phone rang. It was Riley, a friend and prosecutor. "Vivian, what the hell is going on? I just saw your message and the Instagram photos. Did Sabrina really hit you?" "She did," I said, walking toward the metro to process the adrenaline coursing through me. "Are you okay? Want me to come over?" I meant on, fine. Better than fine. I think I Sitman finally free. Free from pretending they sit my family. Free from guilt about my success. Free from walking on eggshells. "Vivian, this is going to get messy," Riley said. "I know. But I Sitman done cleaning up their messes. Let them deal with it." "What about your parents?" I paused. They stood there and watched Sabrina assault me. They demanded I give up my home. They called me selfish. When should I start caring about their feelings? Family stopped being family a long time ago. I was just too blind to see it. I chose to walk home, reflecting on the events and what might come next. The 40-block walk from Midtown to my Upper West Side condo gave me time to process. Messages kept coming. Co-workers who attended the wedding, friends who saw the social media posts, and journalists wanting quotes. One stood out, Patricia Winters, senior partner at my old firm. "Vivian, I only found out tonight. You have my full support. What happened was terrible, and I applaud you for standing up for yourself. Call me if you need anything." Tears welled up, not of pain, but gratitude. People who knew me saw the truth. I'm more than money and career. I mentor, volunteer, and fight for justice. By the time I reached my building, I had over 200 messages and missed calls. Luis, the doorman, stared as I entered the lobby, alarm and curiosity on his face. "Miss Vivian, are you okay? You look like you've had a rough night," Luis asked. Luis had worked in my building for 15 years. He'd seen me through law school stress, relationship breakups, job changes, and many late nights. He knew me better than my family ever had. "I said had better nights, Luis, but I think things will get better from here." He smiled. "That sip's good. You deserve all the happiness in the world." In the elevator, I finally examined my reflection. My cheek was still red from Sabrina's hit. My hair was messy, makeup smudged. But my eyes were bright, focused. I looked like someone who had been through a battle and won. Entering my apartment felt like relief. Floor-to-ceiling windows revealed the city lights, glittering like stars. This was my space, my achievement, my home, and no one could take it from me. I poured a glass of wine and sat on the couch, scrolling through social media. Someone had filmed Sabrina hitting me and posted it on Instagram. The video had been shared hundreds of times, with comments ranging from outrage to support. "This is disgusting. Who hits someone at a wedding?" "That lawyer is my hero for refusing to back down." Whether family or not, assault is assault. It wasn't just random users. I recognized names from New York's legal community, prominent business leaders, and even a few celebrities. The narrative was spreading far beyond Sabrina's wedding. My phone rang. Jenna, my assistant, called from her personal line. "Vivian, am sorry to bother you on a Saturday, but reporters won't stop calling. The office line is full." "What kind of reporters?" I asked. "Everything. Local news, Page 6, TMZ, CNN. The story is everywhere." I closed my eyes, exhausted. "What are they asking?" "Some want to know if you still press charges or sue. Your family history, your law practice, your success story, and a few about your dating life." "Of course," I muttered. A single successful woman being attacked by her sister. Classic story on women, family, and success. Jenna, draft a simple professional statement. Seth Morrison is grateful for the support she has received. She is focusing on her work and clients, and will not make further public comments on this private family matter. Should I mention charges? She asked. I paused. I hadn't set considered filing charges. The slap was meant to humiliate, not injure. Dawn set mention charges either way. Keep options open. After hanging up, I realized I hadn't eaten. I ordered Thai food and settled in to process the night. By late evening, the story had gained traction online. The Instagram video of the slap went viral, thousands of views within hours. Articles were already being published. A feminist blogger on women compromising for family, a family therapist on toxic dynamics, and a legal expert on assault laws. My story had become more than family drama. It sparked conversations about success, gender, family expectations, and standing up for oneself. Sabrina's Instagram, once filled with wedding joy, was now flooded with angry comments. Her wedding hashtag #Sabrina and Derek Forever was ironically used to share the video of her hitting me. Sympathy for her nearly flickered, but I remembered her triumphant expression as she struck me, and it vanished. My dinner arrived. As I ate, calls came from unexpected sources. My college roommate expressing support, a distant cousin sharing similar family struggles, and my high school guidance counselor praising my accomplishments. The most meaningful call came from Judge Margaret Chen, who had attended the wedding. Vivienne, I hope you don't mind me calling. I got your number from the court directory. I wanted to apologize personally for what I witnessed. Judge Chen, you didn't do anything wrong. I should have intervened. I should have spoken up. You were a guest, not a referee, she said. But I been thinking all evening. That wasn't been just family drama. It was emotional, financial, and physical abuse. I seen it many times in my courtroom. Her words hit me. I'd focused on the slap and demands for my penthouse, not the bigger picture. She was right. This was a pattern. Years of my family treating me like a personal ATM, undermining my accomplishments, and making me feel guilty about success. Abuse isn't always obvious, I said, especially when it comes from family. We accept behaviors from relatives we never tolerate from strangers. But tonight, financial demands, public humiliation, physical violence, that's abuse. Reflecting on Judge Chen's words was empowering and painful. It confirmed that I'd made the right decision, ending the cycle of enabling my family. Heartbreaking, because it meant admitting they had never truly loved me. They only valued what I could provide. By 2 a.m., I was exhausted but calm. I disabled phone alerts, ready for bed. The intercom buzzed. On the camera, I saw Sabrina outside, bridal dress torn, mascara running. Please, she begged. I hesitated, seeing the sister I'd grown up with. Then I remembered her triumph after hitting me. I switched off the monitor and went to bed. The next morning, the story hit page 6. Lawyer assaulted by sister at Ritz wedding. By lunchtime, it was trending, with hashtags like #weddingassault and #family drama, sparking conversations about entitled relatives and standing up for oneself. Sabrina's new mother-in-law canceled Christmas plans. Derek's firm investigated after clients expressed concern. My parents' country club membership was suspended for review. My revenge was simple. The truth amplified through social media and my professional relationships. Sometimes, the most effective response is showing the world who someone truly is. A week later, Sabrina called, crying and begging for help. I never meant this to happen. You meant to humiliate me. You meant to take my home and put me in my place in front of 200 people. The only thing you didn't expect was consequences. I told you anything. I told apologize publicly. Sabrina, stop. You can undo this. Family doesn't assault or demand sacrifices. They make themselves. You still live with this. She hung up. I never heard from her again. 6 months later, Sabrina and Derek divorced. Their stress and lost jobs ended the marriage. My practice flourished. I never regained my family, but I realized I never truly had them. They valued what I could give, not who I was. I retained the penthouse, converting rooms for work and friends who respected me. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't retaliation. It's refusing to let people take advantage of you. Standing up and saying, "No, you don't get to treat me this way anymore," can change everything.